I done took too many L's, told my niggas wins only, yeah. Wins only, yeah. Wins only, wins only, yeah. Wins only, yeah. Wins only, wins only. Wins only, yeah. Wins only. I done took too many L's, told my niggas wins only.
Alright, Mr. Kanye West, now known as gay, is all over media. What I want to know from you guys is, do you think, what do you think he's trying to say, one? And two, do you think he's misunderstood? Kristen, we'll start off with you.
Oh, you got to.
I'm sorry. This won't be here next episode. But no, okay, so I feel like when it comes to Kanye, there's a couple sides, in my opinion, and we can kind of pull it apart. I think on one end, he is a very intelligent man. And the reason why I say that is because he's the first person that I know who has called himself a genius so long that people have now, like, proclaimed him to be what he has, like, you know, it's like the power of manifestation. If I say it enough, eventually people bite into it, and that's become his legacy. Part of the reason why he was able to get out of so much debt at the point where he was in debt is because he was able to manifest what he wanted. However, I feel like he's onto something in the sense that he's trying to bring an awakening to black people, and I think that we need that. But on the flip side, I feel like Kanye only comes to black people when it benefits him. I don't think he's consistent in his narrative. I think that he lives in the white man's world for a period of time, and then when it doesn't serve him anymore, he comes back to us like we're home, which you should, but it's never consistent. And I say it again, I said it before, a black man who, I'm not saying you can't be with whatever race you want to be with, but I think there's very hypocritical, what's the word? Hypocritical. Sorry, ooh, I'm smart for real. But I think it's very hypocritical when you live your life one way, but you proclaim yourself to be black in another aspect. Like, how are your friends, your wife, everything you do is amongst white people or Jewish people. Because if we're going to be honest, and I'll write back to this, but if we're going to be honest, at one point, you didn't have a problem taking the Jewish man's money at the point where it put you in this billionaire, I say air quote, because there have been questions about what level billionaire-ish he is, but you had no problem taking their money at the point where it benefited you. Dame Dash, many people warned you when you took on Adidas and the Gap and all that, that it might put you in a bad position, but you were determined to get your money and do what you needed to do. And you were talking all that noise, which is good, but you never took the time to own yourself. You didn't build your own distribution. You just continued to play the game, live off of what they were giving you, allowing them to have so much of control over your product, absent of the creativity. And now you went on this rampage, which I feel was necessary in some ways, but you didn't do it at a point where you owned yourself. And now you're kind of left out. And unfortunately, the people that you come into, because you have not been a part of what's been building us up enough to have more people in position, we can't help you either. I mean, I can't refill your $1 billion.
Do you guys think, like, the tangents that he goes off on, or the rampage that he goes off on, do you think those are like a part of his mental, like, is it a mental thing for him, or do you think, you know, this is Kanye? Like, how can we explain that?
That man is entitled to feel how you want to feel. I think he is a trailblazer in what he's doing. If you can name me another man, another woman who's been in those positions, just let me know. I think he's a spook that sat by the door, right? Y'all know the reference, spook who sat by the door?
No, I do not.
The reference of a spook who sat by the door is somebody who infiltrated the system, right? And then he bring it back to the less fortunate people. In this case, Kanye is somebody who infiltrated the system, which is fashion, music. Now he in the tech world now, right?
Maybe.
He's infiltrated. That's why he got them friends. That's why he got them Bezos and them, and, you know, them high-powered people. Who just bought Twitter?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He rubbing shoulders with those people, and guess what? He got black people in mind, and he let you know where he stand with it. He's been consistent in his messaging. I don't think he's been inconsistent with his messaging. Those ranks he goes off on, y'all gotta feel it.
But what's the second half? You said two things. You said who sits behind the door, what did you say? You said two things. You said who sits behind the door is a what did you say? Is a they had two elements. They're a trailblazer and they do for less fortunate, right?
Yeah, they bring it back. They bring the information they got back to the people. They arm them with what he found out from the so-called upper echelon.
So this is my only thing, and I can see where you're going with that. My only thing is, when you're a celebrity or when you're somebody of importance, you have to be careful in how you use your platform. And when you have an opportunity to be on a platform to give information that you're speaking of, you have to have time to A, explain it, B, you have to know who your audience is, and C, be able to articulate what you're saying in a manner of that those people can understand what it is that you're saying. So I think you do have to be careful when you have a platform, how you use that platform.
So who's his audience?
I mean, anybody that's listening.
I think he put enough information out there to where you could at least do the work yourself.
Correct. That is very true.
I mean, his articulation is enough for you to do it by yourself. He on his Gemini shit, he might contradict.
So will we put this on the media? That the media
He's been saying that my bad. Go ahead.
No.
He's been saying that the whole time. He been telling you that the whole time. The media is controlling the narrative. That's why when he go on them damn rants, you gotta feel him. He's letting you know he's putting it out there. It's emotional, it's contradictory, but you gotta eat the fish and spit out the bones with him. You don't take everything he say on face value.
Is the media controlling the narrative or his narrative?
The narrative and his narrative. They let you know every day. Look at Kyrie. They want to control his narrative, but he's staying firm on what he's talking about. He's saying, he's putting out information enough so you can search yourself.
But that's different than Kanye, because like I get what you're saying. I do agree that the media controls the narrative. That's a period. That's like a end statement period. I think for Kanye, the problem I have comes in is that because Kanye is so successful and because so many media platforms, especially in his stuff being shut down, have allowed him the opportunity to articulate himself, I've listened to interviews for 2 hours, 3 hours over these past few weeks, and he's had many opportunities to get to the point. But I think that Kanye, and I'm not saying his message is wrong, there's a lot of ego there. And it starts to become the woe is me Kanye, and that's where I missed the mark.
But one thing, let me say one thing. One thing about it, two things to show, it do start with you. I feel him. It starts with him. He had realizations. He had self-realization. He had realization. So it do start with him. So it could come off as egotistic, but that's why I say you gotta eat the fish, spit out the bones. Listen to the information he's dropping. You might not even like him as a person, but just listen to the info. The info he's talking about is relevant. He didn't tell too many lies.
I mean, and I do like what he's doing, and I'm sorry, Kevin, I know you had something to say. Let me just get this out. I do like what he is doing in terms of coming out, speaking out. You don't care about what others have to say about you. You're just speaking your truth. You know, this is what it is. I do think you have to be careful in what when you're on a platform, you do have to be careful in how you're articulating those things. But to also go back to what Chris is saying, I do think that we fail to research. We get all these little feeds and we're like, oh, Kanye is crazy, or you retweet all this stuff, but we don't ever go back to actually research what's being said.
And to go off of that, I'm feeling like we don't even have to go that deep because we just have to look at the response. When Kanye said something about George Floyd and black people, the outrage was amongst us, but it was only to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. Once he made anti-Semitic remarks, he got dropped by labels.
Very cool.
He got dropped. His money literally dropped once he made a comment about a certain community. So I think the dialogue doesn't even have to be between like whether you understand what he's saying or not. It's just let's look at when he talked about black people. We was upset because we're black. We're upset, but the message of what he was getting through is construed because we're just saying being black. The anti-Semitic, I'm not saying that I don't agree with his comments or whatever. I'm just looking at the response that once he made a comment towards that community, how much that outrage caused his money and the influence that those comments had, how it caused a wave through the industry where it made him lose 2.3
that's
billion
real,
a day.
bro.
But look
And
who
that's
it-
real,
who
bro,
it's led
because
by.
that's real because, just like you said, he said something about George Floyd. Why didn't Adidas and all them other companies drop him then when he talked about George Floyd family? Why they ain't drop him then? But when he talk about anti-Semitic about the Jews and all that stuff, they drop him for that.
And I don't think the discussion needs to be on the
They proving
discourse
them right.
between us
Yeah.
and the Jewish community. I just think for us as black people, I'm not saying take anything that he said as to insight or anything. Just saying that when you see what this person talked about, when he talked about this topic, it only got this type of discourse.
Yeah.
When he talked about this topic, it got to this discourse. And I think for us as a people, when we look towards us, not just outside of him, just for us as a community, we're not strong enough to beat against, another community. We see it. Once he goes against us, it's only met with certain type of, restrictions.
But that's
When it gets
because,
the whole different community, it was this.
but that,
He never won
okay,
against
but
the black
I got a quick point, I promise.
And after you,
Yes. That's because, this might
Y'all know, oh, I
that's because, but that goes to speak to the bigger narrative. Black people have never been able to get, it's only been a small period in our lives that we've been able to get significant things done. The uprising of slavery, Nat Turner, all those that came after him that ended up being relevant to the abolition of slavery. Same thing with civil rights, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. It took very incredible and incredibly intellectual people to understand what needed to be done in order to make a change. Kanye is loosening the neck or whatever you say it. However, I feel like Kanye, much like many of our black celebrities, have took the money and ran. And that's kind of been the narrative for so long, which is why there's such a separation between black celebrities and black wealth and then real black people. In reality, real black people are not able to move the needle because a lot of us are just not in position. And I'm talking about economically. I'm talking about in basic job structure, income structure. Unless you're a black immigrant, because Nigerians are doing very well, most of us are not in position. And that is because the leaders that we look to are not providing the right levels of information. Okay, you say go out and do this, go out and do that, but you didn't own yourself. You didn't buy yourself. As many millionaires, billionaires, 100 millionaires that we have out there that are black celebrities, black influencers, black, whatever you call it, I don't know, I'm not gonna go down the damn list, but the point is that ain't none of y'all ever came together and put your money together to be able to do something that was solid. Y'all have been so, I feel like what happens with us as a people over the course of history is that we always look for the white man's affirmation. We look for the white man's money, the white man's affirmation. And it works to a point, because then when the pot runs dry, or when you finally say, I'm tired, you do one or two things. Either you tuck and you leave and you disappear and nobody ever hears from you again, or you go off on a tangent like a Kanye or somebody else and you find yourself with your neck tied. Because, again, the black, I don't care how much I love Kanye, you love Kanye, or Kyrie, all them, I cannot refill your pot because I'm hurting myself.
He ain't asked you to. He willingly risk it and lose it all. Go ahead. I know you want to say something. I'm gonna elaborate.
Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, go.
So all I'm gonna say is I just feel like he's caught up between two worlds. Sometimes once you reach a deeper knowledge, because a lot of your average black person in America, or African American, whatever you want to call it, they don't really know the true history and what's really going on. They just know from the media. And who controls the media?
He already said it.
Who controls the media? So he's spitting facts, but you don't want to digest it for what it is. I just feel like you can't play on people's face like that, because they're going to bring you to your knees. Look at how many of our people that they've done like that. Nick Cannon, oh, you going to apologize. I don't even care if you Hispanic. Like, you're not going to play in their face.
But Nick Cannon didn't own his stuff. And that's what I'm saying. It's the consistent
You're not
problem.
owning nothing that they own. That's the whole.
Yes, you can.
So, but
you're
when
you-
do black people,
Share her
when
own.
do we step up and say enough is enough? Enough is enough. All of these people are trolling Kanye West, Curry Ivan, Nick Cannon. But when do
Curry
we as
Ivan.
black, what? Kyrie Ivan. Ooh, that's funny. Okay, so, but seriously, how many many of us are stepping up to say enough is enough?
That's what I'm saying. I feel
We all
like
jump on the
collective-
bandwagon and say, okay, he's crazy, or he's this, or he's that, but we don't stand together.
Defend the
like,
But
black
okay, but and a lot of people are gonna disagree. I don't think a lot of people are. I think the internet will make sound decisions. I trust you guys. But I feel like the issue is what I do appreciate about the civil rights movement is that there was an empowerment with education. There was an empowerment with knowledge. There was an empowerment with having a structure to how we're gonna accomplish this. Malcolm X knew that he was a disruptor. Dr. King knew that he was the infiltrator. They both worked off of each other. It was never one. It was one against the other at a point, but eventually they came to a common knowledge of understanding that we need to have an opposition and an acquisition at the same time.
They
Right?
both got knocked off.
Correct. They both got knocked off, but but what they had already instilled, the seed that they had already planted in the people lived on, and that was how the civil rights movement was able to take place. What I'm saying, my point is that we have to come together collectively and understand our narrative. We speak about Jewish people. Jewish people understand their negative, their narrative, their legacy, what they stand for, what they represent. They don't settle for less. As black people, I hate to talk, and I get it. I get that you gotta go out and shake your ass in order to be relevant. And it's unfortunate that we have allowed ourselves to become a caricature of ourselves in order to make money. I get that all our rappers, all our singers, all musicians have to go out there and shuck and jive. I get that a lot of our ball players have to go out and just be a fucking ball player. But the point is that at some point we have to say, okay, this is not working. Because again, all we doing is standing in line waiting on this white man cash his check. Everybody's doing the same thing. So no, as black people, we're not in a position to stand up and come together and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, because the people that we listen to are all fucked up and dumbasses on their own right.
I think that's a relevant statement.
That's a threat.
Yeah. Like my nigga, like what?
I mean, that's what he said, but that's
He
what
didn't even
All right,
say.
so
He didn't say
explain more what
he said
DEFCON is. Explain to me what DEFCON
All
is.
I know is the military force.
Hold on, no.
Oh.
Explain.
I think he contextualized what he said too.
He wrote it down. Don't say DEFCON. Kanye said I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. DEATHCON. The nigga spelled it himself. So we gotta call it for what it is. I understand DEFCON is something that pertains to the military. When he tweeted, which he had time to sit there and proofread and write, said I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. That's a problem.
Okay. Okay, and when a nigga run out on his ops, I hope what you just did. Well, hold up. Cause he said this anti-Semitic. I'm a fucking bitch. I'm gonna kill this nigga. I'm a fucking bitch. Y'all ain't get riled up about that yet?
Who wrote
Y'all ain't get riled up. Hold on, let me go. Let me ask you a question.
It's not who's rapping.
All of them. Yeah. Hold up.
And what color are they?
Hold up. Yeah.
The point is, why we got
You just answer the question. We talk about ourselves.
The
It ain't
point
the white
is-
boys out there. I'm gonna fuck his bitch. Oh, I'm gonna kill his nigga.
Who ain't reciting? Who's reciting the same thing that we write? They reciting the same thing.
Hey, I know what this is. Hey, I know what it is.
They reciting the same.
I hope y'all pick it up when she put it down. I get it.
So let me.
I get it. I hope y'all pick it up when she put it
Let
down.
me try to put it in the middle ground. Let me try to understand both sides of this argument right now. So this is my thing, okay? So my whole stance is white or black. The discussion that Kanye has caused because of the anti-Semitic and the black comments, that's what's more important to me.
You're right.
Because I don't think, for me as a black person, for as much shit that my people just went through, I don't care what anti-Semitic statements has been caused. Not saying that whatever struggles the Jewish community has went through is any less. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from my home court, I just don't feel like that he should lose $2 billion just because that community is
Man,
bad.
that's what he risked.
Now,
Investors always
on the reverse though, like as you saying though, for as much as we perpetrate between the black on black crime or whatever like that, I still don't think that we should just focus on just, the self-hate, considering that, first off, when it comes to a lot of world events, we don't have to do more than just a simple Google search to see what race does what to who. When it comes to
Question?
Nah,
And to
finish my my statement. All I'm gonna say is when it comes to entertainment, media, and you know, life events, yes, certain races do hurt other races more than prevalently. But for, you know, the research I have done and for what I've seen, there's a predominant race that harms everybody.
The whole planet.
And it's by a large margin.
The whole planet.
By a large, you know.
And she tap dancing for the
So that's all I'm gonna say here.
I don't want to
Okay.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay, and what's your question?
I want to ask you a question. You said in the beginning of your statement that it something pertaining to I don't feel like he should have lost $2 billion just because he made those statements. Back up. Hold on.
I don't feel like he should have only lost $2 billion just because he made statements concerning that community.
Correct.
I feel like it should have been even. He lost $2 billion. He should have lost $4 billion in my mind. If that makes sense to them.
Let me ask the question. It's a controversial question, and feel free for everybody to chime in. When George Floyd had passed, and black people, that was the first time that I saw black people really stand up and kind of have a little bit more structure about how we were going to fix the problem. I'm not saying that it was the final solution, but we were a little bit more on one accord. With that being said, part of the structure in which we decided to change the narrative is that we had conversations about not buying certain things. When we did it, there were reports that those 2 or 3 days that we did that, everything changed. It was very impactful. So my point is, no, I hate that Kanye lost all of what he lost. My point is that if that community is funding him primarily, and they decide, ooh, I don't like what he said, I'm gonna pull it out, they got every right to do that. Same thing with us. If we tired of white people, we have every right to stop buying it because we have enough of what we have within our own community that we could flourish in that. It's about the structure. That's all I'm saying. So that's my question. What's the problem if they do it and he's offending them? That's their money.
And I feel
Do
like,
we have enough in our own
and I
community?
feel like, wasn't that the next topic on discussion?
Yeah, and I want to talk
Black
that
culture.
I
That goes to us as a black culture. What we dictate is important or whatnot because we've been pushing the dynamic of what is cool and what's not for years. So now I feel like
Can we keep it real? Can we keep it real? Niggas, hold up, one more time.
Okay.
My bad. Go ahead. Say it. All right, one more time. Niggas love to get validated through white eyes, white people. I guarantee you, if white people fell off the face of the planet right now, it'd be a nigga with a couple of white nigga seeds, and they'd plant them and be like, we need them back. I guarantee you, because I'm saying one more time.
So, but wait.
For real, no, y'all love white validation.
Django.
Y'all love white validation. Y'all love these people to death.
But wait a minute. Hold on. You talked about Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So I got 3 things because we never did answer the question. Is Kanye, is Ye, Mr. Ye,
It's
Kanye
obvious.
West, whatever. Is he misunderstood? And then 2, what is he really saying? But I want to go back to your point because you talked about Jay-Z.
Mhm.
Jay-Z has said this very same thing that Kanye is similar, that he's saying in a similar sense
Oh.
on his, I think it's the OJ song.
Yes.
When he talks about the juice. So
Uh-huh.
I think they are, in a sense, kind of saying the same thing, but they're doing it on 2 different platforms.
Mhm.
And so I did want to come back and say that. But I want to know. But wait. Before we move on, I want to know, what do you guys think that Kanye is saying? And is he misunderstood? Because we didn't answer those 2 questions.
I feel like Kanye contradicts himself sometimes, only because he's living in 2 totally different worlds. You can't say that it's not going to play with your mental, because you got to play this game to still stay in the door over here to be able to bring back whatever he's learning. You know, it's going to sound crazy. And look who controls the media. I'm pretty sure some of the things he said, it gets distorted sometimes, just like they do on what is that, reality TV. And they make mess out of something somebody said, and it's nothing like what they originally said.
Context.
That. And what he's saying is the truth. Some of it, not all, but some things just.
What's the percentage you say?
I give it a good 80.
We can't say that, but I will say that what I do think he's talking about does relate back to the Bible.
Okay, yeah, because he
Does
coming
relate
from.
back to the Bible, and I would suggest anybody to go and do their research. I'm not going to make that a fact, but I would urge you to do your research on the biblical sense of us being Jews.
Okay.
But
and
that's
where
why I was
where
going to
that
connect it
resides.
back to Kyrie. That's basically what he was saying. He was saying like we're Jews, like we're Hebrews, we're the original Jews. Now, do I feel like he could have just left that one out there? Like you, I get what you're saying. You just can't be saying like things like that because that's a threat.
Well,
You already skating on thin ice, saying what you saying already. You in these people land or whatever the case may be. You gotta watch how you say stuff.
it's a threat because it's a fact.
I love this. I love this dichotomy. I love this dichotomy because most women gonna tell you that. But one thing about a man with a spine.
Yeah, you don't care, but that's the repercussions of it.
He knows that. He knows the repercussions of it. One thing about a man with a spine, no matter what it is, he gonna stand on his shit. He not gonna tap dance. He not gonna do none of that shit. He gonna let it be known. No, but hey, it don't matter the place, it don't matter the time. The truth is the truth, yo. And one thing about men with spine, that's what it's gonna be, man. Y'all, one more. I'm gonna land my plane right now. I think that's why we need women, though. You feel what I'm saying? Cause they can come from a different perspective, and we can take it into consideration. I don't think Kyrie got a woman. Y'all see? That we know about Kanye. You feel what I'm saying?
Does
I
Kanye
get-
have a woman?
Well, he got a former wife. He got a former wife, but you know.
But yeah, I'm saying, is she a woman? I'm not
He
saying.
got,
I'm not asking.
he got a former wife, but one thing about a man who stayed alone,
That's what I mean.
one thing about a man who stayed alone, he could go rogue like this, but you gotta understand it though. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm gonna lay my finger.
I'm saying, is she a woman or is she like a full woman? If a woman is gonna lead you in the right space.
I don't even think the woman has anything that much to do with it. Like once
It does.
again, it's just. I mean, to an aspect, he lost his mom, which I feel like was a woman who understood him. I don't think he wed and went after a woman who was trying to understand him at the same instant. She was still part of the industry and the business. Like that's the thing about Kanye. Like he is such business minded, but he's also like in love to where he can be blinded just like any other man. And
He ain't business minded. He a visionary, not business minded.
I mean, same difference depending on like what perspective you have.
He did.
Being a visionary could
He
be
did a lot of
that you
bad deals.
No, yeah, so
being a visionary can be that you're innovative to have a very successful business, but also being a visionary can cause you to have a business that has
Bad business.
pretty much, yeah.
Or no
I'll
business
tell you
at
one
all.
business.
There's a lot of Picassos running around here that didn't get the
My
opportunity.
thing about Kanye is that if you want to relate the woman that he aligned himself with, that she was about one thing, and that's just about money and promotion. And even though she's doing stuff as far as like, law and trying to help, the black man, which is really the motive. I'm not going to say any man. It's really mostly black men who was incarcerated by a certain degree. That's been her whole motive.
That's her motive?
I mean, I think that's been the biggest thing that's been pushed for her motive about passing a bar and being legal is, helping the quote-unquote black man get out of jail or whatever like that. That's been what,
benefit.
because of her
How she
husband.
benefit
But even
from
on the flip
How
side of
she
that is
benefit from
that
that?
Kanye married her also because he was in debt. His wife, I already said, she done paid half of that debt off. All the debt that he had for the most part, between the business decisions and what they had, they got it off. But at the same time, what's going on right now with them being divorced and just with the way Kanye is, I don't think, once again, still, we need to focus on Kanye as a person. I think we need to focus on Kanye.
Yeah, I definitely think Kim Kardashian is irrelevant.
Very much
In
irrelevant.
all of Kanye's.
Cause she's doing all that black man, saying black man. She's doing all that saying black people stuff on herself.
What I want to talk about here is very frustrating to see the outrage that's happened with the community, Jew community, with the comments. Where's that same outrage for black people? And how do we, as a people, make sure that that outrage is seen when it applies to us?
And that goes into our next topic, which would be black culture.
Well, I hadn't even done it.
What is black culture?
A bunch of black men laying down with a bunch of white women. That's black culture.
What?
Yeah.
The nigga hates race on that.
That's personal, right?
Remember that?
What?
Remember that lady up drinking your juice in the hood?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Black boy.
That bad?
Black No, we not like
And
that.
white people, no, because that's a part of black culture, and that's something that we were literally just
White women can't. When is the last time you seen a white woman successfully twerk? Miley Cyrus tried and failed.
Wait, hold on.
What black culture can they assimilate?
I have something to
That's
say to
not
that.
good.
I have something to say to that. Like, that frustrates me that you just brought up twerking amongst. When I asked about black people, the fact that you just brought up twerking is an insult. And that is that. Wait.
Let
It goes, wait.
Give me that shit. Give me. No, I'm gonna respond right after that. I got something.
Let me
Come on, give me
finish.
that.
Let
Give
me
me that.
finish. It goes back to my point. Like, why is anything other than excellent
That's coke.
not black? Like, why when you talk about things like that, it goes to black
What,
people?
twerking?
Why does it apply to black
What
people?
twerking? Come on, twerking.
I got you.
Well, answer me this.
Yes.
Answer me this then. Out of all the black women in America, how many you think got a twerking video out there?
I'm not even gonna say that.
What's the percentage? You know what? I know what I think.
99%.
Somebody got a video out there twerking. So that guy.
But
You say that
that's
about
what
I
I'm
got
saying.
something different than
We
that.
all first of all, we all break
Everybody thought about that twerk video.
To add on to my question, why couldn't it have been? You can't operate on me like a doctor. Like what black girl can operate on me?
Yes,
Why
okay.
couldn't it have been that? Why did it have to be twerking?
Okay, so let me
Because
say
that's how they break.
That's all I see down my timeline.
No,
This is
you
why I
gotta
said
wait.
twerking. This is why I said
No,
twerking.
let him answer.
Cause you said for culture, right? You said for culture. Who
That's
knows what
correct.
getting 30? Who in this room knows what getting 30 is?
What?
Getting 30, the dance, getting 30.
Uh-huh.
Okay, my bad.
I see.
Who knows what the WAP is?
I've heard of that.
Who knows what the electric slide is? Who knows
Oh,
what
we'll
the
do the electric slide.
Okay, who knows what the Cupid shuffle is?
We know we do that.
Okay, who knows what
The wobble.
the wobble is?
Cha-cha slide.
Who knows what doing a stick? All these dances are made up by who?
Black.
Black is black culture. We know the Cupid shuffle, the electric slide, the cha-cha slide.
No, we don't
We-
know those. You doing two days. We don't have no
Hey, y'all-
credit.
Man,
for
no.
that.
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay,
Nah, you right.
Let me say this. For the cha-cha slide, I know who that song is credited to. I know for the wobble, who that song and dance is credited to. I know for the whoa, the rich homie Quan. I know for the jerk. I know what culture, what side of America is
What they got to do
credited
with you
to.
talking about us?
Okay, so what I'm saying, okay, so that all.
I do think we make great music. I do think we make stuff poppin'. I do think we add the extra seasoning that's needed. However, why, when it's anything less than, okay, it's uneducated, or me and Laia was talking earlier about Ebonics, why is that associated with black people?
Easy.
It's always a matter of perspective for me, because who knows how to describe Ebonics except us? We may not even know.
We made the language.
We don't even know how to speak Spanish like that, but Spanglish, we may say that like it's a little slang term, but that's a real thing. We can, if depending on what type of culture or what life you've been living, who you've been around, you may not know perfect Spanish, but you can know certain words to go in between.
All this is
and know how
a
to communicate.
derivative of us being having to be able to speak among our people, and so they will not understand what we're saying. So that broke off to one thing, that led to another, and it all has intelligence in it. Even the twerking. Where do you think that came from? The 808s and the bass. All of our songs have bass. That came from what? The blues, all the way on down, trickle down. Something is good.
She thought that it was
It's the fact that we always try to frown upon it. It's nothing to frown upon.
How would you feel? Let me ask you three fathers. Your daughter is on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Stop thinking on tables. Making me hurt that. Okay, so your daughter is on Instagram, Facebook, whatever have you, twerking. How is that gonna make you feel as a father? Your daughter.
We know the answer to that. Yeah, we know the answer to that. That's unacceptable first of all.
Okay, so that's my point.
I'm not gonna say it's unacceptable.
That's my point. I think there's a time and there's a place for everything. And I think, and culturally, we should accept that. However, what it has been brought down to in today's generation, I feel is dehumanizing or it's
That's why I
degrading
asked the
of
question.
a
That's
woman.
why I asked the question. Out of all the women in America, what's the percentage of women that got at least a 12?
White women,
No, I said.
They all do.
No, I want to say this though, because when we always talk about culture, we always go to like entertainment and motherfucking shit like that. That shit do not advance us as a people at all. So when we talk about culture, we gotta talk about things that advance us. Twerking don't advance us. I'm sorry.
ain't no wrong with doing it though.
You see what I'm saying? You
I don't
see
think
that
it's
sidebar?
time to
You
play.
see that sidebar? You know how many people gonna think like that?
But it's
No,
the
no, 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 no. Let me get it.
hold on.
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
it's
Where's
We're
the mic?
It's much deeper than just twerk, baby. That's just a derivative of black people.
I
There's
get what
and-
you. When it's oversaturated, when it.
Mic call.
Let me lay my thing. When it's oversaturated, it's a problem. It ain't advancing the culture. Culture has to be advanced. But I'm gonna lay my thing.
And our art within, whether it's just wardrobe or being painted, taking pictures or videos. It's how we put that shit together is what makes us us. So therefore, we can't sit here and say white or black. This is a shirt to me. What she wearing is a shirt. What you wearing is a shirt. This is a shirt. That's a shirt. Like it's clothes, pants, shoes. It has a name. Doesn't mean like white shirt, black shirt. It's a shirt. This is a chain. This is shoes. These are fruit.
Okay.
Who that was manufactured by?
White fruit.
Who that was manufactured by? Was that manufactured by some black men? By some black hands?
I digress.
Was that digress? Say-
Hands alone.
This all I-
dictate
this
the
all I
brightness
hear.
of the fruit.
This all I hear. This all I hear. We get whatever we get and we make the best out of it. Like they like with fucking
Chitlins.
pigging. Thank you. Like with pig and chest we make chitlins. Okay.
White people couldn't think of that shit. White people couldn't dress up no chitlins.
Yeah, it sound good.
They couldn't do that shit.
It sound good.
Hold up.
No, hell nah.
White people didn't know to clean the membrane. You have to get the membrane out.
The Caucasians could not put together no shit, no intestines
That's
together.
all fine and dandy.
It's
But guess
fake
what?
Still.
But guess what though? Guess what though? All that shit we was eating, calling it soul food, give us diabetes.
She good.
That's a part of our culture.
Culture. We talk about
Because we were
culture.
surviving,
But
like-
Exactly.
Who
Black
cares?
culture is.
But who cares?
Say, black culture.
Okay. But when we talk
Say it.
about
Say it.
And she got a point.
when we talk about all these things, times have changed. What is this generation doing to bring black culture, a better black culture? What are we
Raising good
doing?
black children.
The main thing that we all talk about, for better or worse, is finances. This is the conversation that all of us, no matter what, how old we got, we all said, one, our school didn't teach us shit. Most of us will say our family didn't teach us shit. Finances is the main thing that separates what we from what I see, in my opinion, from what black people say differences us from white people is our finances and how we are taught up to treat our finances.
I do one better.
And so, to wrap up that statement, the thing that we're doing in this generation to further black culture is not only about just our finances, it's also about sticking out, because I've seen, like, I don't know how much y'all are in on Twitter, but for me, I've seen a lot of people talk about like it girls and like people who are like, you know, the back in the day who used to be like, you know, that person. I see you rocking that Candor hat or whatever like that. Like that's like, to me, as soon as I see that hat, I think of LL Cool J. I think of Run DMC. I think of black, you know, black culture. I don't think of no white person wearing no Candor. I just think of my culture who made that a thing in
They
our
call it
culture.
beach hats.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Like for me, what I see a lot of people doing, even though we may not give the individual the shine, our generation is putting forth the individuality that a lot of our previous generation did not, promote. We now in this generation, even being black, are more open to like the LGBTQ community. Back in the day, we wouldn't be with, you know, all this type of things or whatever like that. But as far as the culture, we're being more open and more open to have dialogue about, you know, certain situations that back in the day we wouldn't talk about, like, you know, divorce, PTSD, and depression. Mental health is also another thing.
Yeah, very true.
I'm gonna sum all this shit up.
No, here we go.
I'm gonna sum it up, bro.
I'm sure you're gonna try.
I'm going to. Just listen. Man, all this shit come back to motherfucking nature. If we, the melanated motherfucking people, are not in tune with nature, this shit don't make no sense to us at all. That's why we gonna come up with some bullshit like music all the time to justify our culture. Everything everybody talked about was some doing
Farmers,
education.
we the original
I
farmers.
mean, doing something with entertainment.
We was damn sure farmers.
And then you guys.
Right, that was nature. That
You guys talked about
the land.
Black Wall Street.
I
That
ain't
was
gonna
a
say
monumental
Can I say
thing
something?
in
It's not
Black
really
history.
I-
And so I think sometimes we think about shit too much, excuse me for my French, we think about things so much that we kind of end up degrading like how far we've come. Like, I think that we've been trained to think that this is not good enough. And so I think what the question should really be is not what is Black culture, but do you agree with it? Because some people see Black culture and what we've been able to do. Like, when in my childhood, I think about going outside, throwing water balloons, running through the sprinkler system, you know, all of that stuff.
Right.
And so
I didn't say that.
I think
See,
in
y'all fucking with
different,
my nature comment then.
I'm just making a point. I think when you talk to each Black person, you will see a similarity. And I think that similarity, we should embrace that. And I think we have been put against each other to go against each, like we've been trained to go against each other. So go ahead to you. I don't want to ramble.
I think we focus on what Black culture was instead of what it is now.
Right.
Because-
What was it?
I remember
Huh?
that.
What was it?
Can I-
Explain
It was
what it
great,
was.
man. Black culture was it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
We were together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have cookouts every weekend.
Yeah.
What food? What food we eating?
No, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it
Not
does.
But
everybody.
this
Chicken,
is the
bro,
thing,
collard
though,
greens.
Chris. I think you
Bro,
are.
we gotta
This
really
is the thing,
delve
and that
deep
is
into
great.
some
Like,
shit.
I'm not saying, bro. I'm not saying, bro.
That shit
like,
ain't black.
It was,
That shit black death.
bro. That shit
But
was
wait a
culture
minute.
to us.
But wait a
bro.
minute.
That's
Let's
all
go
we
back.
had, bro.
Can I say something too?
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
say something because it kind of speaks on it. I'm
Y'all
glad
think
you brought,
low, y'all
I would have
fucking
never
low.
thought of bringing that point, but I'm glad you brought it up. My grandmother, God rest her soul, Rosalind Cole, passed in 2017, and my grandma was the epitome
Hey, chill.
of a Black woman in Black culture. He contaminated our food anyway. He's not the damn for it. I mean, it makes me so mad. Why are you doing that?
Get some
But-
drinks, bro. Hey.
I got something.
Nasty. But anyway, that's probably with cookouts. That's probably why we'll get sick. It wasn't the damn
Sugar well.
The health and safety.
No, but seriously, back to your
Okay,
grandma.
back my grandma. What I mean by that is, and I feel like I'm doing a good job of carrying it in. My grandma was very much so the epitome of a Black woman. My grandma, they would all get around. She'll say what the hell she had to say. You know, she did not, she felt like women should be a certain way. Every time she'll check on me, hey baby, how's your love life going? If I did something wrong, she'll correct me. If I touch something, she'll smack my hand. If the kids were doing something, she would get us together. However, she was the strength. She was the backbone. She's the one who brought everybody together. And I feel like that's something that we miss so much. And I do feel like we focused on the past. I feel like the past was the sweet spot. I think that even when I look back at films, the type of films that we were making in the past, you know, going all the way from the late 90s when you had movies like The Wood, all the way to the early 2000s where you had the newer Martin Lawrence style,
Baby
Eddie Murphy
boy.
style.
Whatever.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. They were in our moment. They were in our truth. And I feel like right now our truth has been blended and chopped up and spit out by so many different people that we've lost our sense of identity. I don't think there's anything wrong with separation. I think that there's power and understanding individuality. Even we were talking about men and women last week. I heard a quote from a lady on YouTube that was very profound. She said the problem with gender today is not so much that women and men should be equal. It's that men need to understand their strength in being masculine and women need to understand their strength in being other. the equality comes in the fact that I'm standing strong in my womanhood and that you're standing strong in your manhood. And that doesn't mean roles, that just means understanding what I bring to the table as a woman and what you bring to the table as a man. It's the same thing for us. I don't see anything wrong with individualism. I think that at the end of the day we need to embrace it, and that's my case in point on the topic.
So what I
Don't
wanted to say
individualism-
about you, I'm sorry. You're talking about is death, all the food and stuff that we're eating now.
So
That is
it's a
great.
good deal.
That is great that you have.
Yeah, when you're chopped
Evolved.
off. That's
That's great.
On the way out, that feels good.
That's great that you've evolved from that. That is great. Like I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that in your expression to acknowledging that okay, eating pork or whatever it is that give you diabetes and high blood pressure, in the way that you express that, I would not take away from what the people before us put together.
Yeah,
Right,
can we,
that's all I
can we
have.
talk about what they was ingesting before the
And I have-
the
and
bullshit
smoke
came
weed.
through?
I have a question. I'm gonna try to keep this as quick as possible. Question: do you follow like Christianity?
You asked me personally?
Ooh,
I'm just asking you. Yes, no, you.
No.
Alright.
Oh,
Alright. So for anybody who follow, I'm just asking for a
I'll
reference
open up
point. So
that
I
can
can,
of worms.
I'm just asking for a point of reference before I can make the statement I make, so I just know who following and who not. So anybody who follows the Christianity faith or whatever the Bible references, paraphrasing, I don't know the word for word. If you know that you're doing wrong and you still do wrong, you will get punished worse than if you do wrong and you don't know. So this is what I'm saying about the food. This is why I made that for the point. We may not know or do know if the food bad. You know the food bad, stop eating it, whatever. You know to proportions, whatever. At the end of the day, the food only gonna have some sort of, it's gonna do something to you regardless or not. That does not matter.
It don't
Culture,
matter.
at least in my opinion,
It don't matter.
because at the end of the day, whether it's a white or black person, portion size is up to you. It's up to the person who's consuming it. I can put a ton of food on your plate. You don't have to eat it. The thing is, it's not about what you consume, and that's your choice. My thing is, the culture is not about how much you consume or what the food is you consuming, even though, yes, the food you consume does something to you. My whole point is, what are you making? Why are you making it? Who taught you how to make it? Who taught you how to season this? Why are you eating this chicken in this type of manner? Why? That is the culture to me, not just eating fried chicken or water.
But it is about the food.
I'm saying the thing about the food is not just about like the health nutrition. It's about what the food itself, the whole process about it. Like, what does it mean to you? Did you get these greens out the field? It's just certain things about the cooking and the process. It's less about the food itself. It's everything around it, to preparing it and everything, growing it, and the culture around it. That's why I feel like
But we do own
not just
certain
the
food.
health facts.
But
we do own certain
Is
food,
it
though.
the fact that we don't have our own farms? We don't have our own
We do.
resources to do these.
We were pushed out. We were pushed out of the farming
We did
industry.
have it.
We
We did
were.
have it. We did have
We
it.
still
But
have
I'm
it.
saying, is it the fact that
Agriculture.
is the fact that we don't
We
have
buy
the
this hormone
same
pump
resources today? Is that what's making us sick?
Yeah, because if the
Because
food
who are we buying this stuff from that we're
Right.
consuming?
Right.
Now,
If I really
to your
felt
point.
right.
That's what I was gonna
Right.
get on. So when you was just like chopping the feet off and all that other stuff, that didn't start coming around until, cause Big Mama and them used to live some years now. Like my grandfather's in his 90s, and his brother
97 years old.
was 107 when he passed away. They used to eat these collard greens, whatever stuff, but they did it in their own backyard. We knew where it was coming from. The problem was stuff that's being produced and put on the shelf. Processed foods,
Right.
fast foods, anything processed, and sugar. Like, it's bad.
Like
Like,
pure cane
if you
sugar,
really look at it, like everything goes back to a root to something. Like, we brought okra over here. We knew how to cultivate the rice,
Turnips,
all of that good stuff.
yams.
And the way they prepared it,
Yeah.
the way they prepared it, you can look back, like the way my great aunt used to eat collard greens. I was taught to eat collard greens like you mush up your cornbread and you mush it with your greens, you eat it with your hands. What is that? what is that?
That's straight from Africa.
That's right.
That's why I feel like it comes down like when it comes to technique and how you do things. Those are things of culture of like.
It's embedded in
like
you.
if you have like fufu or other types of food,
But
it's a certain way you do that. Not just because of like the food dictates you do that. That's just because. This is how we eat this.
But the
this
food,
how we eat.
but she made a point in saying that it came from overseas. But it came from overseas, so the food itself too is culture. Because we wouldn't have big ass sweet potato yams if it didn't come from Africa. We wouldn't have turnips if it didn't come from Africa. We wouldn't have okra if it didn't come from Africa. And you damn right, we finna coin some food. Collard greens with neck bones, our food. Macaroni and cheese, our food. We don't do it with the damn bread.
And then some people do stove top and oven mac and cheese. That's a cultural thing.
No, who do stove top?
I eat stove. See, that's the thing. I like stove top mac and cheese. Everybody else will love oven. That's process.
Just like you eat
It's not.
fish and spaghetti.
It's not about. It's not about process. I'm not even thinking about the process. I'm not thinking about the processed food and all that. I'm just thinking about how I like my food cooked. That's just how I like it.
But
now I can get into all that. I'm just thinking about how I like my food.
You like crab cheese and you.
That's just how you
Now, unless you can make a good, I like my baked mac and cheese a certain type of way. That's not saying. It takes a certain type of person to know how to make what I like. But I'm just saying, like, food comes personalized.
Culture. Casey is gonna disagree with me.
Oh, I ain't know.
But I think one thing sums up black culture, and that's soul.
Soul, right.
Spicy flavor, sauce, swag, any way you want to put it, we got.
I mean,
Tenacity.
The only thing that sums up black culture that I'm getting from y'all is just fucking survival in an easy, a comfortable death.
But I can't hear.
A comfortable death.
Something wrong with your ears. Get the earwax.
A comfortable death.
Is it just
That's all I hear. No, every action.
But food.
From the music, from the education, from the
And we talk about Big Mama. Hold on, we talk about Big Mama.
with them big ass elbows, diabetes. Okay, I just talk about it.
Hold on. We talk about Big Mama, we talk about the food. And one thing that Big Mama knew is that food is healing. You can literally heal yourself with food. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but y'all wonder why half of these men fucked up out here was laying down with them white women, eating that badass food.
Let me say something.
No, I'm for real.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna get right back to you.
Fine.
You got a significant other?
No.
Alright, if you had one, right? Can you make an aphrodisiac plate for him? What do an aphrodisiac plate look like to you? Say he was suffering from PE.
Me, I know what it is.
No, hold on.
You asked me a question.
ED.
Okay,
I'm
about to say
Say he was suffering from ED. How can you as a woman help him?
Watermelon.
No, I know what's gonna work. I know what's gonna work.
Alright, tell me your aphrodisiac plate.
What you mean? Alright, hold on. It's the process. First of all, I'm getting that butt ass naked, cooking that food. That's one. That's one.
Okay, so we can stimulate that thing.
Second of all, I'm gonna have the beer in the cooler. I'm gonna make sure I put it on top of the ice in the fridge. I'm gonna make sure
You said beer?
The beer. You take the beer, you put it on top of the ice and top of the fridge, put it in the tray.
Hey, hold up. One more thing. Let me make a comment. I'm gonna have all the women. I'm gonna have all the women.
You asked her what is her.
I'm gonna make sure. I'm
Not for you, but
gonna make sure I make my fried chicken with buttermilk and an egg wash. That's the trick. You gotta dip it twice. Make sure I fry. I make sure I give it to them fresh. I'm gonna make sure that I cook my collard greens. I make sure I cook them neck bones down first. Get that broth going for about an hour and a half before I put them collard greens in. Them collard greens gotta cook for another hour and a half. That's a 3-hour meal. I'm gonna make sure that I make my white rice last. We don't really give a damn about it. You mix it in with collard greens. I make sure I have that Louisiana hot sauce on the side. I make sure I make the cornbread. I like to put little corn bits in my cornbread. Y'all laughing? This is good food.
That's what it is. Good food, but
Good
it's a healing food.
Yeah. I said,
what you mean here?
suffer from ED.
No, cause we gon' fuck and then we gon' go to sleep after.
Okay, hold on. I won't lie.
No, this for the women.
No, she asked about the.
Let her go last. Let Ashley go.
Okay, let Ashley go.
Yeah. Oh, she got a mic. Go ahead.
Let me go what?
No,
I ain't gonna lie.
She already went.
Hold on.
She already went.
She described the plate.
She already
went. I ain't gonna lie. The plate she described, I want the women to go off of that, and then I want the men to comment. I want you to go first. But I want the women to go off of what she said first.
Would you eat that?
And then I want to.
No, this is the question I had.
All right, go ahead.
We heard what she said. Buttermilk, scotch, white rice, collard greens,
Now let me get to the mac and cheese and the candy.
and a mac and candy. Yeah,
That's a lot of
Thanksgiving.
goddamn sides.
If we suffer from ED, right?
Erectile
Which is erectile dysfunction, right? How you heal it?
Hit
What's
the
the aphrodisiac plate? What's
Suck
the
on
go-to
each.
plate? How you get this
Give it
nigga back right?
Give it
Because we know one thing. The woman got the ability to heal and motherfucker make a man sick because she up here cooking.
You don't gotta make no food. You put your mouth down there in the gooch area, look on the balls for a bit. It's gonna come back.
If it gets hard, then it's gonna get hard.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. It's on Ashley. It's on Ashley. What's your aphrodisiac plate?
Right in between the loose spot.
Y'all have
How do you restore your man
I'm just trying
that performing to the optimal level? Cause he can't be having that big ass gut, no blood flow.
The
Go ahead.
Cialis? No.
Oh shit.
I'm just kidding.
With
No,
That's a
pharmaceutical,
quick
yeah.
fix, but it's
I'm just
more
kidding.
damage than it
No,
does.
I think it's more of like strawberries, oysters. I mean, your typical aphrodisiac food. I mean, but I don't think there's a thing across
Hold
the
on,
board.
let me make it a little spicy.
Oh God.
He must have had the right college
Ma-
just
ma-
about his life.
Whatever you say. Tell me. Man, baby.
I mean,
Baby,
I think
baby.
that's
Baby,
situational.
I've been stressed out, baby. I don't know what to do, baby. Nah, man.
But that's my point. I think it's the source. Like you have to find the source of which what's your problem. Why is this a problem?
He
for
ain't
you?
getting no blood flow down there.
What you?
That's the problem. How you make some blood flow down there? You said strawberries, oysters.
I mean, your typical aphrodisiac.
Y'all can't get it together.
What you got?
I think first of all, I'm not a doctor, so we going to see a doctor.
That's the point I'm trying to make about culture. The fucking medicine was embedded into the food.
It was put
True, but me.
Whatever problem you had, you can go back to nature and correct it.
You can, but I think you have to educate yourself on that. However,
Culture.
I agree.
I got you.
I agree, but I think at some point in time we do have to seek help from a person that went to school for it. I don't think we should walk around being stupid saying, "Oh, these strawberries is gonna heal me from having high blood pressure." Like sometimes you need a
It's nature.
physician. I agree to a certain extent. You do have holistic providers, so maybe the question is finding a provider that suits your needs. You do have more medicinal providers that give you, pharmaceutical type prescriptions, and then you have your providers that give you more holistic.
But they went to nature to get the
vitamins,
They went to
nature,
nature to
things
get
of
the
that
pharma.
nature. So I think that's each.
They went to nature to give you the pharmaceutical.
Correct. And there's
So you
nothing
can
wrong with that.
just cut the middleman out and go straight back to nature. But I got you though.
But you have to be educated enough to do that. Otherwise, you're gonna kill yourself.
But where the education comes through? Culture, right? They gotta advance you, right?
Correct.
Go ahead. What's your aphrodisiac plate look like?
So, the plate, or you just want the whole?
I want a plate.
Okay. So first of all, it will be plant-based because you need to detox first. You probably have hypertension or stress. Now that plate, it sounds good as hell. That might make his stomach feel good, but it's not gonna heal his body. You need food like fruits. You eat your fruits by themselves. You eat your vegetables by themselves. You have certain herbs that are going to heal your body, actually heal it and detoxify from all the bad things. And you got to then to make sure it's not coming from here. Because a lot of times if it's too much stress build up, probably just need to run, do some cardio, check that blood pressure. All that should go down after eating these meals, like for maybe 30 days. You'll notice a big difference. You can't eat those type of foods. They feel good to your soul, but it's not good for your body. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right.
I got aphrodisiac plate. Not to you.
Man, I ain't even ain't got no plate. The only difference I got to say is between the two, it's like, damn, I'm dealing between two different women. Really, like, I don't see no white, black. I just see that she has one way to heal me. She has another way to heal me. They both black women, but I don't even care about the black part. Like, they both have different ways they gonna give me a plate. I'm gonna eat regardless. If I can eat the vegetarian plate, I'm gonna go ahead whatever I can.
She asked what's gonna heal.
But wait a minute though, because, and I'm not to discredit what you all are saying, but if you have a person that's a diabetic, isn't like the natural sugar in the food, like, I just think everything is situational. I think we're putting a blanket on it. And I don't think it's a blanket. I think it's situational, and I think the moral of the story is that you have to educate yourself. You have to educate yourself in every situation that you encounter. And I don't think we can kind of just put a blanket on it. So that's a very good question, very good point, but it's not a blanket situation.
Well, tell me where history, nature, when melanated folks in nature, that it fucked us up. Give me a situation.
That what?
When we was in nature, that it fucked us up. I think when we got out of nature, that's when shit got fucked up.
Controversial.
I'm not following. Sorry.
But I get what you're saying. Like,
No, hold on. Let me explain that to third grade.
Down to me, like what he's really asking, because it just went right over my head.
Tell me where in history
Mm-hmm.
where black people,
was living off land.
yeah, nature, right? When it was in nature, was a detriment to them. You got a reference?
I don't have a reference because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Gotta look up, see us, nigga, no pill. Cool clouds, fire proposition.
Skybox view, I'm a young Jerry Jones, getting money, getting stoned, putting my niggas on, making sure our business on the top where we belong.